If you're Honda, you gotta be feeling pretty good about yourself. So far on the year, they're up 53% in sales volume compared to last year. Acura's up nearly 100%. They're doing something right. And Honda as a total, and when you combine Acura and Honda together here in North America, American Honda up nearly 57%. This momentum will carry them into 2024, and that's what the video today is going to be about. Honda 2024, what is coming for them? Are they going to be able to carry this momentum? We're going to talk about every single new model, not only coming in 2024, but we're going to peek a little bit behind the curtains into 2025. Things change radically for Honda in 2026 and beyond after that. Grab your popcorn, grab your snacks and drinks, smash the heck out of the like button if you're excited for the future of Honda. And I'll probably make a separate video for Acura, but smash the like button for them as well. And let's get into it. So let's set the foundation before we get into 2024. If we look back into 2022, they killed the Insight, rest in peace, but they came out with the new HRV. The CRV came out in late 2022. The Pilot and the Type R were both introduced in 2022, but not available, I think, mainly until 2023. And in 2023, we got the new Accord, okay? Kind of like the most generic, and I see more and more of them out there on the road. One of the most generic sedans ever created, but man, it rides like a luxury vehicle, especially in the hybrid. Don't get the turbo. I don't think it's worth it. That thing is, yes. So make sure to check out my review on the Accord Hybrid as well as the Trail Sport. There's so many trail names out there nowadays. Like we have Toyota's Trail Hunter. We have Trail Sport, conversely, from Honda. So check out that review on the Pilot and let's get our feet wet. Let's sink our teeth into 2024. What do we have coming? Well, I think there's only two absolutely confirmed introductions for Honda, and that is their first ever. Well, you know, the Clarity, I think, had a fully electric, but let's say mass produced for the consumers, first ever EV. This is the Prologue, which shares a similar name to the old Prelude. Doesn't mean it's going to be anything like the old Prelude because this is a crossover based off of the Blazer EV, for example. Will be built in Mexico at the Ramos Arizpe plant. The Prologue, in my opinion, looks far better than what we see in the Blazer vehicle. The Blazer is just too edgy, too futuristic looking, and Honda gave this the Prologue, the cutesy, soft nature, the more conservative nature that Honda designs are typically known for. So I'm a big fan of the Prologue design. Now, we need to look to the Blazer EV to get a better understanding of the Prologue. It's essentially the same vehicle, reskinned, rebadged, however you want to call it. Now, it is coming in the summer of 2023. I'm hearing that the Prologue could be before then, but I highly doubt it. It's probably summer. So we're seeing an MSRP, ladies and gentlemen, starting at $56K. That's a lot of money for any vehicle, but you will get an impressive 320 miles of electric range. You have a huge, almost 18-inch screen, 0 to 60. Well, that's on the SS model. Could we see a Type R of the Prologue? I honestly don't think so. I think Chevy is going to keep that. And then why would Honda overstep Acura ZDX Type S with 500 horsepower? I just don't think they're going to do it. So don't expect a 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, probably somewhere around 6 seconds, I would say, for an all-wheel drive Honda Prologue. Now, the EV range is anywhere from 247 miles all the way up to 320 miles. Now, we could actually see this being a rear-wheel drive Honda. The last rear-wheel drive Honda that I remember was the S2000. Even that was an anomaly. Now check out how different these interiors are. Let me know which one you would prefer out of the two. To me, the Honda is, well, this is the Blazer SS I'm sure we're looking at here. But there's just so much detail going on. It reminds me a little bit of the German interiors with all the different lines and circles and details everywhere with, you know, carbon fiber. I'm getting like Audi mixed with Mercedes-Benz on this sort of interior, which I don't like. Then we have the cute little Honda Prologue down here with a much more dialed back interior. Obviously, the steering wheels are nearly identical with the buttons, but we have a volume knob here right at the top left of this square screen. We have climate control knobs, a lot more buttons here for the climate control on the Honda, which I much prefer compared to what we have over here. The vents are more tucked into the dash, more subdued. They're not sealing your eyes. We have two USB-Cs right here, 12 volt, and then the cup holder area pretty much looks identical between these two models. And we have a head-up display on the Prologue as well. I love light interiors. We have a massive panel roof. We have this beautiful two-tone seat. I hope this isn't glossy black. Can you imagine how many fingerprints, dust, and worse where I live, how much you're going to get blinded from this little dash accessory here? I hope they change the material right there. I love the looks of the Prologue. I think Honda's going to do well with this vehicle. In my opinion, they will have more of a draw to this compared to the more hyper-aggressive Blazer EV. Of course, this is going to be on the Ultium platform here, which is co-developed with LG Chem. And LG Chem actually has a Honda battery plant coming online in 2025 to help build battery electric vehicles for Honda. But I don't want to skip too far ahead yet on that. Let's get back to what's also happening in 2024. So Prologue coming 2024. I don't know if it's going to be the first new vehicle or refresh vehicle coming up for Honda, but we can keep it as a lock for 2024 for Honda. Rear wheel drive more than likely. All wheel drive is an option. The other vehicle that is a lock for 2024 is the Civic Hybrid. Honda has confirmed that we're getting a Civic Hybrid sedan as well as a Civic Hybrid hatchback. The hatchback already exists in other parts of the world, in Europe especially. We can expect from this Civic Hybrid around 181 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. This thing will be just as fast as a Civic Si, but getting over 40, 45, maybe 50 miles per gallon. So I can't wait to see this sort of Civic Hybrid setup here in the United States. And it should put it at an equal footing against like the Elantra Hybrid, but it will have more performance than the Corolla Hybrid. It won't have all-wheel drive though, unless Honda pulls a rabbit out of the hat, because we've never seen that I'm aware of a Honda all-wheel drive hybrid, which they sorely need, but that's a topic for a different discussion later on in the video. But not only will it fight like the Corolla and the Elantra on the lower end of the spectrum, it should try to take punches at the new Prius as well. The new Prius, though, will have it as available all-wheel drive. It has nearly 200 horsepower, but the Honda Hybrid should have it in regards of torque probably, and it should be almost as quick or just about as quick with about a 7-second 0 to 60. It's pretty exciting. Just to rehash on 2024, because it's right around the corner, we'll have an all-new Prologue EV for Honda, and we'll have a Civic Hybrid in the form of a hatchback and a sedan. Is there anything else coming for 2024? Well, it's possible that Honda could refresh the newest generation Civic. What are we, 11 generations at this point? They could refresh the Civic alongside of offering the hybrid at the same time. They absolutely don't need to. I think the Civic is pretty much perfect the way it is, in my opinion. Maybe they could offer Google built-in or something like that. Now, my wish and prayer for 2024, outside of those two vehicles, is an all-new Odyssey. As a family man, I don't know if we're going to get an all-new Odyssey as early as the end of next year. My prayers, my hopes are there for it, but they could go the more conservative route and just refresh the Odyssey again. In my opinion, Honda needs to electrify the Odyssey to compete with the Sienna. So that's a different topic for maybe 2025, is electrified large platform powertrains. So into 2025, we're looking at probably a refresh of the HR-V, but I wouldn't be surprised if Honda decided to hybridize it as well. Look, the Corolla Cross just got a hybrid. We know the CR-V as well as the Accord have hybrids, and the Civic has a hybrid. So why not their next best-selling vehicle to get a hybrid as well with the Civic hybrid powertrain with around 180 horsepower and over 200 pound-feet of torque? That's where I see the HR-V going in 2025. CR-V could get a refresh as early as 2025 as well. Now, Passport and Ridgeline, these vehicles seem ancient at this point, especially when we're looking 2 years down the road from now. We're either going to get another refresh to just kind of limp these guys along until they're replaced potentially by battery electric vehicles, or we could get maybe one last big redesign on them on a gas platform or a hybrid platform would be ideal. And they would bring in all-wheel drive, which would be awesome as well. So we'll see what they do with the Passport Ridgeline. Either they get a refresh, redesign in 2025, or they just ride it out until they're replaced by EVs later on down the road. There's also talks in 2025 of Honda offering another EV, this time a 3-row crossover. This would actually compete against the BZ5X from Toyota. That should be coming out in 2025 as well. But we don't know exactly if this is going to be a GM product shared with the Ultium platform built at a GM plant, or if it's going to be built somewhere else at a Honda plant. So to recap 2025, HRV refresh, potentially HRV hybrid. We should see a CRV refresh. We'll see some sort of attention given to the Passport Ridgeline or Odyssey, hopefully redesigns with a hybrid powertrain, and we'll see a 3-row EV potentially in 2025 as well. In 2026, this is where things change forever for Honda North America. And that is when their battery plant comes online in late 2025, and they have their all-new e-architecture platform that is built in-house by Honda. It's not shared anything with General Motors. It is a true Honda. And we'll see this for sure 100% in 2026 with Sony as the Afeela sedan that has tons of technology, tons of cameras, tons of sensors, tons of screens. Just an insane showpiece for technology coming out of Japan, but it will be built here in North America and exported over to Japan and other markets. So the Afeela sedan coming in 2026. The name is starting to grow on me. I like the symmetry of the Afeela nameplate. So we'll see where that goes in 2026 and how well it will be received. We still don't know if it will be sold at Honda dealerships. My guess is going to be sold direct to consumer like a Tesla. That's kind of Honda's way of sidestepping their dealers as they take their, we know dealers take about 6-7% of the profits of the automakers. We also don't know who's going to service them. I would assume Honda dealerships would want to service them, even though they're not selling them, because that's more revenue through their service centers. There's also a good chance that Honda gets their own Afeela badged car. It will look completely different. It won't have nearly the same safety technology or robustness of that technology, and it will be a much cheaper EV car in theory. So think of this as an EV Accord, at least on the interior space, but more of the same size of the Civic would be my guess. I think they would just have one EV sedan for the future, but time will tell. Also in 2026, they could come out with a third EV. You have the Afeela, you have a Honda sedan, and then you could have an EV compact crossover. Why is it compact crossover? They already have the CRV and they have the Prologue EV, so they wouldn't have another mid-size crossover. It's going to be smaller than that, probably somewhere around the HRV sized, but as a fully electric. So they have a CRV midsize and a fully electric Prologue, also midsize. So they have an HRV gas hybrid, and then they'll also have this EV compact CUV. Who knows what it would be called? Also in 2026, we could get a redesign on the Civic, but time will tell. Things are very uncertain, I would say, after 2026, because they will be doing more and more electrification by the end of the decade. Speaking of that, 40% of Honda vehicles will be fully battery electric by 2030 here in North America. They're hoping to sell 27,000 of the Prologues per year, which I think is quite a bit. We'll see if they hit that number. They won't hit it in 2024. We'll see if they hit it in 2025 and 2026. But we're on to 2027 now. And that's so far out. But what we do know is that in 2027, 2028 timeframe, Honda and General Motors, again, working together to co-develop EVs. These are going to be small EVs, from my understanding, affordable EVs. Think of something like the Chevy Bolt, but a next generation, that are going to be affordable, practical, new battery technologies, more approachable, high volume sort of vehicle. Maybe think of something like a Honda Fit. Maybe that would be amazing to have that back in the market as a fully electric city vehicle. We're expecting $30,000 Ultium based EVs by 2027, shared with General Motors, or at least co-developed with General Motors. We don't know where they will be built. That's quite, I mean, we're talking about 4 years from now, but that will be happening in 2027. And anything after that is completely just up in the air, a question mark for Honda here in North America. Now, there could be the introduction of a sports car EV. We've seen concepts from Honda, maybe an S2000 remake, or we know that there will be a next-gen NSX that's fully electric, but that won't be badged as a Honda in North America. It'll be badged as an Acura. I'm sure there's something I'm missing. Let me know down below which vehicle in the near future, the Prologue, the Civic Hybrid, a redesigned Passport, Ridgeline, Odyssey on the large platform. Let me know what sort of vehicle or which specific vehicle you are most excited for. Are you excited for Honda's dabbling with Sony? I think that is the most intriguing out of all the vehicles I've talked about today, to see how that's going to fit in their lineup, how it's going to fit with direct to consumer sales, things of that nature. And I want to see how good that collaboration between two massive corporations from Japan, how good they will blend together and create either the ultimate car or just your average run-of-the-mill car by 2026. It'll be fun to see. Anyways, I'm shutting it down there. Smash the like button if you made it this far. Let me know if you disagree with my lineup, when things are coming, either before or after. It's just, I don't think anyone knows unless you work for Honda. So this is a little bit, actually a lot conjecture on my part. And that's why I said for sure certain vehicles like the Prologue and the Civic Hybrid next year. And then, for sure the Afeela in 2026. And then the rest of them are kind of just up in the air. But I'm going to shut it down. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day and peace.